Welcome to the live show. Holy hell, what a finish in Buffalo. First things first, the Eagles deserve all the credit in the world for showing up in a bad weather football game and taking care of the football better than the Bills. Like number one, full stop. The Bills want to win a game like that, they have to take care of the football. It was like kind of the only thing, the way I saw this matchup coming in, I thought that the Bills would have an advantage running the football. But as the week went on and Kincaid is down, you're able to kind of load the box. The safeties can play downhill. You're not really afraid of the guys outside, and the guys up front just whoop their ass. I mean, Jalen Carter, Ajomo, Jordan Davis, Phillips, Nolan Smith, Hunt. Hunt was a menace, dude. So I mean, like, listen, I as much as I want to give a lot of credit to the offense for getting the lead, right? And I thought Jalen, there was a stretch in the second quarter that he played some of his best ball of the season. Honestly, people are going to say that sounds hyperbolic or like bullshit, but Hurts played his best ball for a 10-minute period, and then they went back to being the Eagles offense that we know this year, which is you play one half, you take one half off. Luckily for them, the Bills play with their food the entire game. And I don't want to make it seem like, listen, Josh choked it off at the end of the game. I mean, that's a ball that he has to hit. And, I think you saw it right when he walked off the field. So I don't, there's no way around that. Josh Allen, as much as he damn near won the game on his own, there were 2-3 moments in the game that he really wants back. And you could talk about, hey, do you go for two there? I don't think you go for two, not at home. Not when the opposing quarterback hasn't completed a pass in the second half. I mean, they're running the football, just trying to get out of there. They've lost that attacking element of the offense at that point in the game. And part of it is because both quarterbacks are working in a monsoon for much of the game. But in that scenario, if I'm Sean McDermott, and I thank the good Lord that I'm not Sean McDermott sometimes, because holy shit, I know Badgley. Excuse me, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. I got a cough and shit like that. I know Badgley has missed some extra points this year. I know you got problems at kicker. I know you got one blocked earlier, but I still take the high percentage play and try to get to overtime. Because I think if that game goes to overtime, the Bills feel like they win it. At home, that's kind of the rule of thumb. If you're at home and you have the momentum, you opt for the extra frame. But Badgley really has struggled this year, and it didn't help that he had just missed one. And honestly, I think the biggest – somebody says, anybody going to be honest, Jalen's playing like garbage, the coaches don't play the game. Listen, that I don't think Jalen's been great this year. I tell you week in and week out, I'm pretty honest about him. But I think in the second half, it was a byproduct of just being so confident in the defense that they really didn't have to take chances. And, he burned certain balls out of bounds. Do I think he's playing great this year? Absolutely not. But he did what he had to do to win this game. It just is what it is. And this has become such a polarizing conversation that, like, if I were to say that, you might think that I'm like I'm like defending some of the play. Some of the play this year. I'm not. But, in a game like that, that's what he had to do. I mean, that defense was playing so well. I don't think people understand. And I think Tom Brady was, I get a Josh Allen as a fraud in here. I think 31 other teams would love to have him at quarterback. He did choke the end of the game off, though. And the sack was terrible. I mean, just hit the check down. But, not everything's about weed, Robert. Some people get sick. It's fucking exhausting broadcasting this shit to y'all. But no, I think honestly, that first touchdown for the Bills, I would have gone for two there, because at that point in the game, now maybe they kind of knew what we all know at the end of the game, which is that, like, the Eagles aren't really getting anything going offensively, but I would have guarded against a 16-point situation where the Eagles get over midfield, take a shot, that type of thing. maybe kick a long Jake Elliott field goal. All of a sudden it's 16-8 if you go for 2 that first frame. And then you can decide to go for 2 again. If you hit it or don't hit it, you still got the 2-point conversion and tie the game or whatever. So I just like I don't really know. I want to criticize Joe Brady, but I'm not really sure what he's supposed to do in that situation. I think Tom Brady kind of hit it on the head. It was really hard to operate in that weather for both of those quarterbacks, not just Josh. I'm giving Jalen the out. And, I think the world of Josh, but I'm giving both those quarterbacks the out because now the thing Josh can't do at the end of the game is choke off an easy crosser. That's the problem I have when for much of the game, it was really hard to move the ball through the air, even routine plays. And it's not a monsoon at the end of the game. I just don't love the 2-point call. I just don't. Maybe I wanted some free football. Maybe that was a little close for comfort, but Eagles defense, they deserve all the credit in the world. They deserve all the credit in the world. This is a group that if they play like that, they can beat anybody. It kind of feels like the defense is, and we've said this a bunch this year, is the currency in this year's playoffs. Like, who's got the best defense is kind of the great equalizer. And if they play like that, they've got a real shot. They do. Now, the thing that Jalen can't do is turn the ball over, which he's usually pretty good about. There have been a couple games this year where he wasn't. But in a game like that, people are going to come out of that game and say, like, oh, man, Jalen sucks. They didn't complete a pass in the second half, like yada, yada, yada. And that's all good if all you do is argue about quarterbacks online, which I don't want to do. It's about winning a football game. And honestly, they have an outside chance at getting the 2 seed now because Chicago's they got to play San Francisco and then Detroit next week. And I went hard in the paint on the 49ers for anybody looking at a play tonight. I mean, I think they're begging you to take the Bears, hanging that 3.5, getting to 4. So, yeah, it's a wild game, man. And again, like, credit to the Eagles for winning a game that really revolved around situational football. That's it, dude. It's take care of the football. I didn't love the call on. Now there were some calls I didn't love both ways, but I didn't love the Tucky kind of fumble. I kind of defer to the guys on TV on that one because it's kind of 50-50. The guys on TV said, it looks like a pass to me. Great bounce for the Birds. It goes off somebody's ankles. And I think it was who was it that ran down and covered that thing up? It was was it Campbell? Yeah, if it was Campbell, that was a hell of a play. That was just a huge heads-up play from him. Everybody else not really. And here's another thing in this game is, and I'm certainly not making excuses. You make that throw Josh missed at the end of the game on one fucking leg. But I do think, and Tom was all over this, he was kind of gutting it out through some lower body injuries, and you take away the quarterback run game, the Eagles just had them right where they wanted them. They were feasting on these guys. So defense deserves a lot of credit, man. A lot of credit. This is a fantastic unit, and it's led by the guys up front, and rushing coverage works together. Now, they took some shots at Quinyon Mitchell, which was a little bit confusing, but, if I was some of y'all just need to, like, seriously fuck off. Like go listen to another podcast. I don't even know why I have the comments open. We're going to close those so I don't have to see who I'm actually talking to. You work so hard to popularize your podcast only and invite a lot of people that breathe through their mouth into all the content that you do. No, I'll give you I'll give you my 2 cents on what I think the Eagles need to do in the playoffs. I think the Eagles in the playoffs need to get better running the football. Right, that was a little bit disappointing tonight that they couldn't run the football to their standard or whatever the standard was a year ago. Like, Buffalo's defense, as good as they played in the second half of some of these games, like, not a great group. You'd like to put them away, right? You need to take leads early in games, be aggressive, and you need to let your defense go to work, man. And so I think, the way they come out early in games, not kicking field goals in some of these spots. It used to be such a superpower, the tush push. They got to be really nails in some of these third and fourth and shorts and cash in with touchdowns early in games, because if you have a lead and if you're the 2 seed and you're playing at the Link, you got a great shot. You really do. I mean, and yeah, I don't think the quarterback's playing like a top 5 quarterback. I don't think he's playing like, I think he's barely playing like a top 10 quarterback, but he can win games with the setup he has around him. And I thought he played really mature today in the first half. And in the second half, I know he didn't complete a damn pass. And, it's kind of crazy. We're having this conversation, but he burned half the balls out of bounds and he didn't really put the ball in harm's way. So it's just, it's just a reality, man. We spend so much time riding the wave week to week. This quarterback's great. This quarterback sucks. This quarterback's great. This quarterback sucks. But it doesn't matter. It's about the teams. It's about the teams ultimately. And this year, I think it's about team football, because you look at some of these teams that are playing really great football. Look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they're a prime example of. I think they're really well set up from a roster standpoint. And you can question the quarterback all you want, but he's played really well the past 4 to 6 weeks of the season. Now he didn't play that well today, but they have a good enough team that they're going to outlast a team like that in a rough spot. Because they did. They turned the ball over in the red zone. There were uncharacteristic mistakes for that Jags team. But they've got a great team. They really do. They have a lot of good players on that team. And so, they're a prime example of that. It's not really about the traditional who's got the best quarterback this year. I don't know if that is the case. I really don't. Because you know what I think? I think that shit, if it comes down to the Steelers and the Ravens next week, which is just what the NFL wanted, I mean, legitimately exactly what they wanted. They have two of the worst division championship games you could even draw up. It's like Baltimore and Pittsburgh and Tampa and Carolina. The league just scratching and clawing to get what they wanted week 18. I guess the point is there's going to be some shitty teams in the playoffs, but I think there's a lot of really good football teams in the playoffs, like good rosters. And so you look at like Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I almost feel like, and I floated this idea, I'm not dead serious about this, but is anybody like go around the AFC and be like, if you could pick one of these 3 teams to be in the playoffs and order which one you want in the playoffs the most down to the least in the AFC North, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincy. Everybody's putting Cincy third. Like they're wasting a spot on whoever gets in the AFC North. Maybe if it's Snoop Huntley playing quarterback, because Lamar's not playing well right now and he's hurt. But like Snoop Huntley, the way they ran that offense the other night was crazy. I mean, like we'll talk about the Packers for a minute here because I'm just ranting. But the Packers, like Jeff Hafley, that was bad enough that like that's the first thing I'm asking about in the interview is like, what happened there? Take me through your thought process on 3rd and 5, 2 open A gaps. They're checking to a run. Like in crunch time, you're chasing 2 scores. You can't get off the fucking field. You're just sitting there in 2 high safeties. Derrick Henry is just dragging bodies across the field. Snoop Huntley hasn't thrown an in-cut all game. And you find a way to lose that game. There's some bad ball. And the Ravens were benefactors of that, but they deserve a lot of credit for just putting themselves in a position to get in. And honestly, I look at Pittsburgh now without DK Metcalf, and I think Myles Garrett was right about today. Myles Garrett was like, listen, they seem more concerned with slowing me down than winning the damn game. And honestly, at times I felt that way. The Pittsburgh Steelers are just the most unserious football team of all time. I know that's hyperbole, but like, shame on us for jumping not out of the gym, because nobody jumps out of the gym for the Steelers. Shame on us for leaving our feet at all for the Steelers at any point. I mean, it's wildly frustrating. I know you got your best defensive player on the sideline with a hole in his lung from an acupuncture guy, but come on, dude. Like that was hard to watch, that game. What are you doing on 4th and 1, dude? What are you doing? Scotty Miller, go ball? I would say, what year is it? But there was never a year that's what you do. Like, that to me, and I've said all year, like, I actually have felt bad for Aaron in Pittsburgh. I don't usually feel bad for Aaron, the football player, but like, but in Pittsburgh, I absolutely have. Like, all that cast off talk. But it's 4th and 1. That felt like an ego throw, dude. Like, what are we doing? Like, remember the objective here. Boswell missing field goals. Just a really rough deal. That game feels like 12 hours ago, so I don't remember all of it. But that was a tough watch. I mean, that was a tough watch. And by the way, it was so funny. It's so funny with the quarterback thing, man. Like, because I thought the first half of the game, I was like, I kept turning to the guys and saying, "Hey, Shador is playing his best game." Like, Shador was playing his best game. He was working. He was working the middle of the field. He had made a cut. Now the ball to Fannin down there. I mean, a lot of people couldn't wait to put that on their timeline. Like, people were pulling a muscle to get it on the timeline. And then they show the replay, the things like pirouetting through the air. It's like Duck Hunter, dude. But I think overall he played pretty well in that first half. There were some, as the game went on, there were some bad plays. Obviously, you can't help the fact that your left tackle is just a shell of his former self, and you're getting hit in the side of the head on one of your picks. But the other one, that was about as bad a pick as I've seen all week. The Steelers couldn't beat that team. Couldn't beat that team with the damn division on the line. You deserve to lose the division. Honestly. Seriously, I know Steelers fans are so mad at their team, they probably are almost rooting against them next week, so that there's some damn change. Because it just, it's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. So, anyways, that's some wild shit right there. And then, somebody's got to win that AFC North. The Bucks. I haven't even looked at that game. The Bucks are they're like, I mean, they do like point shavy type things. And I know they're not. I'm not throwing that allegation out there. But that is fucking wild. Like, the injuries don't even explain how they played, down the stretch this season. And eventually it falls on the head coach. Eventually it falls on the head coach. You can't laud Jason Light, who I think does a great job there year over year. And I know they get kind of comfortable like with their roster, and they don't make moves at the deadline, and they like developing guys, and maybe they have their quirks. And obviously the health of that roster mattered as the year went. But bro, watching them execute, I think Baker's hurt. I've been saying that since the damn since the Detroit game. You go back and you're going to say, "Oh, you're making an excuse for Baker." I don't need to make excuses for anybody. I don't play. I didn't play in that game. I don't play for the Bucks, But I'm just telling you, I feel like he hasn't been himself this year. And part of it is the guys aren't on the same page because they're barely on the field long enough to be on the same page. But the defense was so set up at the start of the year to be a really scrappy group. But the thing you didn't consider was that at backer, you had no feel in the pass game. And Levante David is getting a little bit older. And, your man corners that you draft, they're young, so it's a bit of a process there. And losing Cansey was huge. And you had to have Reddick be the old Reddick. And it just didn't come to fruition. Now they might still slide in the playoffs, but they got beat by Quinn Ewers today. Quinn Ewers. And somebody said, "What does Bo know?" I don't know what Bo knows. Honestly, he's as befuddled as me, man. I'll text Bo and I'll be like, "What's going on down there?" He's like, "Bro, I have no idea." Somebody just said Saints are the second best team in the NFC South right now. You might be right, man. that Tyler Shuck, we spend a lot of time paying attention to all these other rookie quarterbacks because there's big stories and, you know, it's a storyline with Shador. Jackson Dart had his big moment, where they beat the Eagles and blah, blah, blah. My kid today, I walked in the house. He's like, Jackson Dart just did this celly. And I'm like, he had 13 yards last week, dude. Tyler Shuck is the best rookie quarterback from a standpoint of execution and just what he's been able to do in phase, winning games for his team this year, dude. Like he is. And would I draft Cam Ward in a heartbeat? Number one, absolutely. Did you see the ball? Dude, his knee hit the ground, but that fourth down was unbelievable. I knew it as soon as he threw it. I was like, it's coming back. But it was like Mahomesy, and he's got all the tools. But Shuck, I know he's a little bit older. That's all the more reason to strike while the iron's hot with this guy because he looks like a pro quarterback. And you talk about like not having to chase the dragon and draft a quarterback or move up. Why wouldn't you? Why? Like, honestly, it's so funny to hear people talk about it because they're like, maybe they will stick with him. I'm like, yeah, they drafted him in the second round and he's winning games and their roster's not great. So, if I'm New Orleans, absolutely. And am I shocked out? Golly. Little kids, man. The bottom line is like Brandon Staley, who got laughed off stage as a head coach. I always say this about defensive coordinators. When they fail as head coaches, hire them. I think the defense has done a really good job this year. And I think another guy that's done a really good job at, I want to shout out is Chase Young. He had another big play today. I know people kind of wrote him off because, he maybe wasn't like a, top 5-10 rusher in the league. But as long as he's healthy, he's a really solid player. He's a good player, and he makes big plays. Like when you watch him play, like when I feel like when they signed him there, everybody was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But he really is a good solid player. So and when it comes to the Jags, I'm bouncing around here. Like I know some people are gonna. Does that scare you? You beat the Colts, you're losing them the whole game again. Like the Texans, who I think they could be the best team in the fucking AFC. They could be the best team in the AFC. And I've been banging this drum with the damn Texans for, what feels like months now, where it's like I don't think people realize how long this damn win streak was. And then you look up and you're like, damn, dude, since things like Trent Brown coming on, man, Trent Brown's been huge for them. Getting CJ Stroud back, obviously. I think the receivers have come along. And I thought in a game like that was brilliant to come out. I thought that was brilliant to come out like that and take shots. They saw something, with the way they play cover 4. They saw something with, how they matched those routes, and they took a couple shots on him off the rip. And I just, for a team like that was 0-3 and people were like, yo, they're just like last year. They actually got better. They're better than they were last year. And I think what they went through last year makes them even better this year. And so like a team like that, man, they can go all the way. I mean, because they have the defense. You talk about the currency, they got the currency. And by golly, dude. I mean, I've got some stinkers of takes, but I got some really good takes too under my belt. That Justin Herbert take that I delivered last week, I mean, what else do you want me to say? I said no one is playing better right now at that position relative to what they're working with, considering their circumstance. And I think a lot of people understood what I was saying. You still had your trolls and haters and people that live on their parents' couches who just, they want to get upset, because you didn't say their favorite quarterback, or, maybe they don't like Justin Herbert because he's tall and he's from out west. And he didn't talk to Rutledge immediately, but the guy's a fucking stud. And if any game encapsulated what I was talking about last week, it was that game. Just yesterday, Saturday. I mean, there were plays where my jaw dropped. Like, at what he did and then at how he was let down. Like, he threw that ball to Gadsden in there. I mean, mask on or off, you really shouldn't. You really got to lay off the drugs, man. You got to lay off the drugs. You got to lay off the drugs. I'm even willing to say Justin Herbert's a better quarterback than Josh Allen at this point. And, I think Josh is the fucking man. Justin Herbert makes that throw at the end of the game. I think he does. And he is. And those two guys in a lot of ways are working with, like, not full decks. I mean, we like to say, hey, James Cook. Well, you got James Cook. Well, if they don't have Dalton Kincaid, it's scary hours out there. And their defense is kind of cheeks as well as they played today in some spots. So, I would put those guys in kind of the same category as, like, man, they don't have a lot to work with, but they're kind of one-man bands. And Herbert right now is playing better than anybody. Herbert's playing better than anybody. I mean, there was a play where he shook off two rushers, climbed the pocket, and you had just like a point shavy drop, dude. And you had people say that Gadsden dropped the ball in the damn – what happened to the Bears? Bears scored? Pick six, first play of the game. Who? Purdy threw a pick six? Yeah. Bro, I'm cursed. I'm cursed. Who'd he throw it to? Jesus Christ, Purdy. What the fuck, Purdy? Are you serious? You're kidding me. So, anyways, yeah, I just Herbert, man, that game encapsulated it, dude. There was a play in the red zone. He's got like grown men draped on him, and he's just like, whoosh. Hey, So whoever your favorite is, let me know. Let me know. Yeah, I'm gonna lose that bet tonight. There's just no question. You don't throw a pick six off the first play of the game. First play of the game. You gotta be fucking kidding me. So anyways, let's see what else there is to hit. I thought the Packers should be ashamed. The defense that they played in that game. With honestly, I still think the Niners can win this game. Look at Al Harris. Niners, you idiots. Just idiots. This is idiotic. 14-45 to go in the game. You're down 7-0. That's good for the team total. But the Packers defense, man, like, again, don't you feel stupid if you were like, Micah's not worth it? Don't you feel stupid? Don't you feel stupid? Because they're so bad without him. So bad without him. And also, you look at Sauce Gardner, it's just a bad year for going for it, dude. Bad year to go for it. Wow. Sauce Gardner's not hurt, but I think he's won 2 games this year or some shit like that. He won 1 game in New York, and he's won 1 game in Indy. Oh, unbelievable. That is wild. Somebody said, to be fair, King Henry owned the Cowboys with Parsons last year because it's one player. It's also 2 different defenses. Anyways, Micah completely changes that defense. And then, the Pats looking like an adult football team taking care of business. Oh, Seattle, Carolina. Seattle might get home field advantage, but I don't trust them. And that's hard for me to say because I picked him to win the damn NFC West. But if Darnold's going to look like that, and maybe he won't look like that at home, but I've seen him look like that at home, it's really hard to trust him. And I'm rooting for Sam Darnold, and I don't think he's like a bad quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. But it kind of felt like at times today they were calling the game like they didn't trust him. Now, they eventually pull away. Thank God for Tank Lawrence. Tank Lawrence forcing the fumble and everything. But, like, there were certain – I mean, there have been plays the last month of the season where I'm like, damn, Sam, you're really just going to – you're not going to beat the allegations, are you, buddy? And I'm pulling for him. I like Sam. He was never the guy, and he was never the guy that they made him to be in New York. Obviously, I think we've all learned a lot of lessons about context in the NFL, right? Like we've all learned a lot about, I think over the last couple of years, and strangely over the past like 5 to 7 years, I feel like, honestly, I think there's been a lot of situations that have reinforced that like the team you're on really matters for most quarterbacks in the NFL. Um, he's not the guy that they made him out to be in New York, but he's, I don't know if he's one of those dudes. And as I said, it is about defenses and the entire team this year. But like when your guy makes mistakes, like Jalen Hurts, okay? Jalen Hurts, and I'm not comparing him to Sam Darnold, but what I am saying is if you have doubts about Jalen Hurts, for the most part, isn't going to give you the ball. You know, that Chargers game, I thought he was pressing. I think he was trying to like fight the narrative, which he shouldn't do. He should just try to win because that's kind of what he's done. But Sam Darnold, if it feels like there's always a risk he's going to give you the ball. And I think as the down goes on, he'll short arm stuff and kind of press. And this isn't me. Listen, they won today. They covered. Great. It was awesome. I don't, when I watch him play, it makes me uneasy right now. It's December and he's making me uneasy. So who do you trust in the playoffs QB wise? Somebody said that. Let's see. Quarterbacks I trust in the playoffs. I mean, here's the problem. Some of the best quarterbacks, I think Matt Stafford has to be one, considering who he's got on his, who he has on the roster, coupled with who he is. They're the rare team that's got like both right now. I want to say, hey, I trust the fuck out of Jalen, right? Because he's been that guy in the playoffs, but he just didn't complete a pass in the second half. I know that the game dictated maybe not being as aggressive, but he's been up and down this year, so he's in that group. But this team isn't the same team as it was last year. At least offensively, it's not. Patullo hasn't panned out, and I think when you look at Josh, I'm not making. Listen, he's got to make that throw at the end of the game. I mean, there's some abhorrent plays out there, but also some really great plays where he carries that very mid roster. That is a very mid roster. Justin Herbert, he's doing the most with the least. So, like, who are the guys that you trust? I don't know. Like, honestly, I'm not really sure. I mean, like, do I think Drake May is an adult and I trust him? Yeah, but like, I don't think their roster is that great, right? Is Trevor Lawrence playing well? Absolutely. He's playing his ass off. Do I think they have a really good team? Yeah. But I don't know who he is yet. Like, we got to see the playoffs, man. Like, I want to see him play this way in the playoffs. And if he does, then he might be quarterback and coach and team. Like, Jacksonville might be up there. I really do trust Caleb Williams. I say that as I bet the Niners out the ass tonight. I just think they're a little bit like, I think what comes up must come down a little bit with that team. They have a special thing about them, but they've won a lot of close games, and that's great. But like law of averages, the whole thing. And I don't think some of their defensive personnel is going to dictate that they're going to be in some shootouts. Like if they played San Francisco in the playoffs, they're going to have to score 35 points to beat them. And, I think we'll see that tonight. I think it's going to be a shootout. The damn Bears, man, they had no business winning that Green Bay game. Green Bay gave it away. So I want to give the Bears a lot of credit. Who do I trust? I don't know. That's what makes this so fun, man. That's what makes this playoff so fun, in my opinion. And honestly, I got to tell you, like, when I was a player, as much as I hated being eliminated, and usually it happened in like October, so I had a lot of time to like come to grips with that reality. For most of my career, dude, I was the biggest NFL fan in the playoffs. I'm okay doing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when my season's over, I'm not going to hang my head for 2 months and not be able to watch football. I used to love going to the bar, wild card weekend, back when there were only a couple of those things. Now they're going all the way to Monday night. I love this time of year. It is my favorite thing as a sports fan, and this year is as wide open as I've seen it, honestly. If you told me the Broncos won the whole thing, sorry, Reed, I might be a little surprised, but I'm not going to be shocked. If you told me the Texans won the whole thing, I'd be like, damn, dude, I didn't see that coming in September, but like the way they played lately and the way their defense plays, the teams that would shock me winning it all. This is a better way to put it. I think the Niners defense eventually is an issue that is prohibitive. The Panthers are in right now as I look at this thing. I don't think the Panthers can make a real run. And I love Bryce. Would you rather have Bryce or Sam Darnold? Eagles, Rams, teams that I think could win it, right? The way the Eagles offense is playing, they'd have to play really, really good defensive football and control the turnovers. I would be shocked if the Packers won it. The Bears, medium shock. Not like, what the fuck? Like, I'd be like, I'm kind of surprised. Pittsburgh Steelers, I will. If the Steelers win the Super Bowl, God, what will I do? I'll walk across America. I will walk. Honestly, I kind of hope they do win because I could use a good long walk across America. I would love to just say, hey, I'm walking across America. You guys can fuck off. We'll be back in 2 years. Dr. Fax can handle it. You'll just get 6 hours on the Jags every day. I think Dr. Fax thinks that our podcast is a Jags podcast. I think he thinks that our podcast is called Jags Wire. I honestly do. You should see our group text. It has turned into a psych ward. Can I show you how long he laughed for after the Jags won a game today against the Colts? You see all those ha-ha-has? You see all those ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-has? Guy's insane. He's lost his mind. The Jags are really good. The Jags are really good. I'm going to walk across America. I might just do it anyways. I'll see. I'm going to start walking now. And I'll see y'all in San Francisco for the Super Bowl. I don't know. What else? What else? You guys got anything? The Crosby thing, I'm going to look a little closer tonight. I don't think it. Do y'all really think it's that crazy that you shut down your best player with 2 games to go? He's been on the injury report since like October with a knee. Is it that crazy? Does anybody really care? Or are we just trying to be upset? Also, like Max Crosby, he has to be upset that they're pulling him. He is like you have to pull my lifeless body off the field kind of guy. And that's the thing. Like you can't play Max Crosby and be like, hey, load management. We need to protect you. Like Max wants to play every play. Okay. And he's earned that right. And he's a fucking psycho in the best way. And that's why I love him. That's why I think he's a true throwback. Like when I got in the league, we used to play like there was less rotating, and I used to take pride in playing 83 snaps in a game if I could. It's like kind of I want to go out on my sword type thing. But like we always say, you have to protect the player from themselves, right? You have to protect the players from themselves. And now when they protect the player from himself, everybody's like, oh, this is affecting the game so much. Like as if anybody gave a fuck about what happened in Vegas today. Do you even know who won the game? I think it was the Giants. Yeah, Max Crosby would have been the difference, though. It's like I'm all for like, hey, investigate it if he should have been out there and he wasn't actually hurt. But like the guy hasn't been practicing for the better part of. And here's the other thing: I don't know about his incentives. But maybe he hit 10 sacks and they were like, all right, we got you your bag. Now we're gonna sit you down. I'm just saying, like, we just seem to really get upset about some things that really aren't that big a deal, especially in a draft where I don't know that there is a number one pick that everybody's like trying to tank for. Is there really? Like, who would it be? Maybe somebody really wants to get in that spot. You want the guy from Indiana bad enough? Does everybody want the guy? Caleb's scrambling around, throwing the ball in the dirt. Let's go, Sam Fran. Let's fucking go. Who's the PI on? Who's the PI on? And by the way, for the record, I think Caleb's a fantastic player. I think Caleb's going to be a problem for a long time. But do you really want Mendoza? Is everybody like lining up to? Do you think Mendoza is going to get in an NFL locker room with that shtick? Do you think that shtick's going to like? You think it's going to, bro? I'm just telling you. Yeah, it's just one of those. It's one of those. I'm not saying he's a dork. Everybody's saying he's a dork. I'm not saying he's a dork. I got a lot of respect for the kid. Fucking guy won the Heisman. I'm not Diego Pavia or something. I'm not gonna be all. But you know, like I don't think there's anybody in this class that everybody's like, yeah, we got to tank for. What's the guy's name? What's his first name? Fernando. Is Frank short for Fernando in any way? Tank for Frank. Because, you know, the last time we tanked for somebody, that didn't work out so well. You remember that? It's not. Yeah. Fernando is the Spanish Portuguese form for a guy named Ferdinand. Kirk Cousins 2.0. You guys think he's Kirk Cousins. If he's Kirk Cousins, I'm not saying pick him first, but, you know, Kirk Cousins was a fucking damn good NFL quarterback. You know? Again, one last time, I've been talking about Malik Willis. Go run the tape back to his draft class. I've been calling him Hall of Famer Malik Willis since he was a fucking baby. I've always been enamored with the guy. And golly, if the defense could have stopped anything the other night, I think he played well enough to win the game. But how about the pack? Just a factory of sadness. Guy gets hurt. Fucking the backup comes in the game. The backup to the backup comes in the game. And the announcers are like, LaFleur just keeps raving about what a high character guy he is. And I'm like, yep, here comes a pick. Put it right on Bo Melton's hands. By the way, you draft Robert Golden in the fucking first round. You finally are like, yeah, we're going to invest in a wide receiver. And he's not even really on the field much. So Packers fans, I'm going to tell you something, dude. I feel bad for you. I really do, because I bet your win total, I don't think you're going to play hard next week, are you? They're not going to try to win that game next week, are they? Malik Willis hurt a non-contact arm injury. They had to sprint him into the locker room to shoot him up or something. They're not going to put Jordan Love back out there. He's still sensitive to bright lights. That guy from the Bears owes me money. He started this whole slide. He's why I'm chasing the pants off the Niners tonight. He'll probably spear the fuck out of Brock Purdy or something. Full circle. Anyways, QB injuries, man. All right. I think that's it, y'all. We'll get it going tomorrow. And what time is that show? 3:45. Be there or be square. Take it easy, y'all. Make sure to pull up to the drop your. The phone. Yeah, call the phone number. You know, leave us some takes. You can find it on our social media. Find it on our social media. The number's there. Take care. Go Niners.